Hey everyone, in today's video we take a look at the full Bellroy Venture collection, a new collection from Bellroy designed to take you from the office and beyond. Today we also have a special conversation with the lead designer of the collection, JJ from Bellroy, who will walk us through the journey of what it took to design all the elements and who might also share with us what's in his everyday carry bag if we ask nicely enough. If you're new to the channel, I'm Theo with Rushfaster, and at Rushfaster we do guides and walkthroughs to bring you better gear and better ways to carry. So if that interests you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our latest reviews. Now, let's get into the full Bellroy Venture collection. The new Venture collection has been designed with Bellroy's classic minimal aesthetic, yet does not compromise when it comes to the material quality and outdoor durability. With us to discuss more is the lead designer of the Venture collection, JJ. But before we get into that conversation, if you're interested in the review of any of these bags in specific, feel free to use the timestamps below or watch the video straight through as is. Now, let's get into that conversation with JJ. All right, so we have JJ with us, but before we get into the call, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce JJ. So James Jeffrey, better known as JJ, calls Melbourne home, but has over 10 years of experience living and working abroad in the likes of London and Vietnam. As lead product designer for Bellroy for the past 7 years, JJ has spearheaded design teams for iconic items such as the Shift and classic backpacks, to name a few. When he's not in the office, you can find JJ shredding waves and catching sunshine with his family. JJ, welcome to the Rushfaster channel. We're glad to have you.
Great, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really excited to talk about the new Venture range with Bellroy. So we definitely understand that Bellroy has grown from just beyond everyday carry bags and accessories to kind of this near field of the Venture line. Could you explain to us where the Venture line is taking us?
So I'll start with kind of where the Venture line began. So originally, when we were doing a lot of the product development and product design for Bellroy, we tried to think of like straddling between like work and play. And what we wanted to do was like get the bags and products that worked in that mid zone. So it was kind of like office appropriate, but then also casual life appropriate. With 2020 and COVID and being locked down and working from home and adapting to that, we actually started to rethink a little bit that focus on work. As work kind of came into the house and you started to, bring your office into your living room or wherever it was, you had less and less space for home. And we found that a lot of our team were just starting to go like more outdoors and take any of the time that they could, that you break away from the desk was really about like going out and exploring and, like where the name comes from, but like having these little adventures. So we started to take that on board and really just started to hone in on a couple of products that felt ideal and really well set up for it. So we started light product and then we also started Venture product. So Venture for us is more capable for outdoors. It's really, really pulling us towards more of an aesthetic that means that you feel more confident and capable heading outdoors, but that we pulled that back enough that you can still kind of wear it to the office. So I think where we had like that home and office overlap, we've kind of stretched that home to be actually outside of home and to be more about being out and about and around and, doing activities. And that the other parts of the diagram, of the Venn diagram where it overlaps of like office or home have become kind of smaller slices. But what we really want to do is make sure that we've got product that kind of like fits and blends into those zones really nicely. So Venture is continuing on, and we've got more products in the line that are extending the backpack carry, extending shoulder carry, extending weekend carry, and just it's going to grow and build into quite the suite that just lets you travel and go outdoors, but never feel like you're advertising that I'm Mr. Outdoors guy. Like, that's not what Bellroy is. Bellroy is much more like calm and universal than that. And we want stuff that kind of fits in more environments and more of your life better.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that the story of the Venture line really came out of working from home and what many would see as like a negative experience, but it's amazing to see that, you know, even in such a circumstance like design and Carrie has adapted to kind of fit what we now have a new normal when it comes to where we are and what space we occupy. And it's amazing to see that Bellroy adapted to that as well.
I think it was hugely influential for everyone. You know, the change that happened just made us reevaluate, you know, what values we really wanted to be sharing as a brand. And I think that for us, the last couple of years of product design have taken less focus on work and have been more about those extensions outside of work and looking at life as a bigger piece of the pie rather than as a complement to work.
Yeah, definitely. You had mentioned a little bit about how you guys selected very specific bags and honed in. What was that process that you went through to make some of your similar items more outdoors friendly or more outdoors geared for the bags and the entire Venture line?
Yeah, so the Venture started with the Venture line started with the Venture Sling. What was the big change on that? It was really an access question. So once we were doing development for weekenders, we had this idea of having like opposing end zip heads, and so like that you would always have the zips on each outer side, and we couldn't quite get that to work on weekenders. We were struggling around and toying with this idea. And so once we then started to think about, you know, slings and smaller carry and more personal carry, we realized that there was this great insight of actually having the opposing end zips and leaving those opposing ends actually open so that you could really access inside the bag. So the very first Venture bags weren't Venture; they were actually a version of the of our sling that just had this updated opening to it. And it was like that aha moment was really like, you open the bag, you can really get that access in, and you really can kind of like see all of your stuff laid out. And it just really just dawned on us that like, oh, this is so much better for, you know, packing like a wide variety of items. And then that's kind of like what started to kind of feel more appropriate, that it was a Venture product and that it was more like capable for a wider range of cases. And, you know, from the size point of view, like the sling, the Venture Sling original 9 liter is quite a big sling, but it's like quite large in that it gives you options. And so it's like, you know, you can put water bottles, you can put drinks and a rolled up jacket in there, you can have food in there, you can have all your EDC in there. It just kind of becomes more of this like, this ready to go kind of like little set that you can keep and just really just feel is just so active and just so available. Once we started that, then we realized that it was more than just this one bag. You know, at the same time, we were also developing the Chimera, which was the copy and paste of all of our best bits into one bag that ended up being a lot more challenging than we originally had hoped. And we realized that, you know, with rethinking access, so like on Chimera backpack or Apex, you know, you can kind of start to tease out about what a Venture bag really is. And it's like, how do you open up the access to the bag so that you can better pack a wider variety of things inside there? And that's kind of been one of the driving philosophies for the range.
Yeah. And I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I found that the most exciting part about using the bags and getting to use them and play around with them is that access. That ultra wide access is so unique, and it's almost exciting because I've never seen any opening like that on any type of sling or everyday bag, as well as with the Venture backpack. I mean, the Chimera backpack has been so anticipated, and it's amazing to see that you guys have adapted that for the Venture line, and it is really exciting. I was wondering also as well, when it comes to the materials that you guys have chosen for the entire Venture range, what was the mindset behind how you wanted to make this more outdoors as well?
Well, you'll notice that we don't have any leather on Venture. And I think that it's like Bellroy is, well, formerly Bellroy was very known as a leather wallets brand. So actually stepping away from leather on all of the Venture line was a requirement of the Venture ethos of being fit for purpose and making sure that we selected fabrics, we did constructions, we selected foams that did the best job that we could do for that task. So, the crinkle RS ripstop, nylon that we have, the black Venture weave is phenomenal. Like, it just has that right characteristic of being hard wearing without being overly tough, of being performance without looking really synthetic. It's got that right luster of feeling like you want to take it into the office, but you can take it to the outdoors, and you know that it's going to be capable and work at both. That was kind of the goal with Venture, was to try and find that right harmony and that right cut through in both environments, and that's really what led to the fabric selection. In particular, the fabrics had to be recycled origin, so the nylon that we use in the ripstop is all recycled nylon. All of the linings are recycled. I think the bulk of the materials that we're using are recycled, except for some of the hard elements such as zips, which are very difficult to get performance and recycled at the same time. Whereas we've really found that at the moment it's unlocked a lot of potential with recycled filaments being able to be woven into fabrics that don't have performance degradation despite being recycled, and it's been like such a great area for us to explore.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing as a B corporation for Bellroy that you guys have been able to not just dance that line, but really find freedom within the ability to use recycled materials. I mean, it's definitely full circle with the Venture line that you guys are using those recycled materials, and yet these are bags that you can take outdoors and experience all the goodness of what you get when you get recycled materials.
From the performance characteristics, we've selected materials that are going to last a long time. We've made sure that they've got a lot of abrasion resistance and a lot of desirability, and we're trying to make sure that we don't do stuff that looks too fantastic or too flamboyant that is going to potentially age from a fashion point of view quicker. We're really trying to make sure that, like, when you invest in the product, that product is going to have a long and useful life for you, and make sure that it's not going to be something that you're going to put on a shelf and forget. A lot of the energy that goes into making a bag is in that initial kind of construction phase, and then after the bag is made, it's actually very, very low energy impact. So compared with like clothes, where you wash and you dry your clothes, a lot of your clothes actually have a huge amount of energy tail in actually just maintaining them and keeping them fresh for wearing. Whereas with something like a bag, you have like your energy and your investment is early up. So the longer that someone can use the bag, the more efficient that you've actually been with the amount of resources that are being consumed to actually make the product. So we've really tried to focus on making sure that these products can be used and loved for as long as possible. And that's been kind of a governor for our material selection for recycled origin, and even down to like how we construct and how we want the bags to look, to make sure that we're not doing anything that feels too much like a fad, or anything that's like outside of the scope, just being approachable and lovable for as long as possible.
So JJ, one question I had for you in particular about a design feature was about the slide hook. And we've seen this on the Chimera bag, we've seen it on the Shift backpack, and now we're also seeing it on the Venture backpack. Could you explain a little bit more about why Bellroy really loves the slide hook design, and why we're seeing it on so many of these key feature bags?
Yeah, we also we use it on the Apex as well. So the slide hook, that was a pretty fun development. So like the original versions of the Shift, like the Shift backpack is where you first saw it. The original versions that we were making, we had this kind of like design debt. We had made most of the bag, but we were still using a G hook to kind of close the top, and we knew it was broken and we knew it wasn't working, and we just kept putting aside like, how are we going to fix that access? We'll just ignore it. We'll have to deal with it later. We'll get the rest of the bag working. And then they kind of came to a head of just being like, we have to really focus in on this now. So we started with a whole bunch of prototypes and thoughts and experiments. The final one that actually got us over the line with like, this is going to be the technique that we're going to use, was actually a bent coat hanger that we like wrapped around and made a hook and just stabbed through the flap of the bag, and then just done that little step. So a lot of like G hooks, you know, they work in a two-dimensional field. So like you've got like a hook that's just going around down on one plane, and so like your lock-in is about going down, past, and then back up. So you have to have like tension to make the hook work. And with a flapped backpack, there's no tension. Like the bag isn't trying to always open itself. So when you added in the third dimension, you actually had the lock as being that step up at the end of the hook. Once you passed through, it was locked and it was engaged from that point, and you could have a secure closure that was easy to get into without needing that constant under tension. So it was a fun insight, and it, you know, it was from a bent coat hanger that we were like, all of a sudden all of the parts just clicked together, and it was just through the coat hanger not performing correctly and actually getting distorted that we realized that, you know, there's that lock element, and that, you know, we're onto something. There's quite a bit of work after that, but it's been a piece that I think for us has really just ticked the boxes of having like a bit of interest and a bit of novelty to the access, but then also the performance that we want of being able to, you know, lock in and be flexible and give your bag the ability to grow and shrink as needs be.
Yeah, that's a great story about sometimes when you find a necessary need, you'll do anything to solve the problem, and that coat hanger seemed to have done it.
Yeah, it was very much at that point where it's like, you just have to focus and solve this hard problem. And I think that it's really easy to try and delay solving some of those problems, but at this point, yeah, you know, you have to make the call and just get it done, and sit in a room and tinker away until you come out with a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You talked about the slide hook. We talked about the ultra-wide access. I mean, this line in itself is solving a lot of problems that you guys have seen in the past with maybe previous versions of bags or previous ways to access all your material. What other problems did you guys run into when creating the Venture line?
A lot of challenge with the duffel. You know, trying to find that right amount of protection and openness. Like we had originally made light duffels, but like in Venture fabrics, but it wasn't feeling authentically Venture. And so like the duffel, we ended up like, we made many prototypes of different versions that just didn't get off the ground. And the end result was like, we wanted something that if you took it from a distance and drew a picture of it, you could do it like in 2 lines and you'd draw on the bag. And so it's like, how do you have like that simple iconic look? But then as you keep getting closer to it, the details keep filling in and you just see more complexity come to it. There was a really big challenge for us to solve, and it looks simple, but it was hard to get there. And I think that there's a few of the Venture products that really have that like approachable and understanding of what the end result is, but the actual the path there was a very difficult one, such as like the compression on the sides of the Venture Sling. You know, we wanted that bag to feel like anytime you took your hands off it, it was as economic with space as possible. And so like, how do you then start to like balance that around the bag, and like how do you adjust the patternings to make sure that that the bag itself just always wants to hug you tight and be closed. And so it's like as simple as a loop from the front to the back of the bag, but in doing that loop from the front to the back of the bag, you have so many construction challenges that you need to solve to actually like, okay, where does it mount to? How does it pull in? When you just fold it, like what happens to the volume on the inside? And you'll notice with the Venture Sling, the sides move in while the zip moves out. And so this is how we're actually able, by detaching that area, to get that compression to really be quite magical and really useful. There's a lot of little details under the hood like that we got faced with as we were just trying to make simple goals into a tangible product. There's just so much that jumped in the way for us.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up good points, especially with Bellroy's entry into camera carry with the 10-liter camera edition. I mean, you talked about all those special features. What made it so possible for Bellroy to create a camera edition version of this sling? And how were you able to still meet those signature design pieces of the Venture line?
So the camera was really interesting because the moment we had them, anyone who had a camera was using a Venture Sling as a camera bag. So it actually came pretty organic that it's like, oh, we should really look into camera. With the camera edition, we wanted to have a bag that was kind of like in incognito mode. Like it doesn't look so much like a camera bag. You still have to have all the padding, but one of the big things that we really wanted to do with that bag was to avoid that ripping and tearing sound of Velcro inside the bag. And then also to allow for the flexibility of the bag to compress and pull forward. So if you have like rock solid Velcro dividers between your camera gear, you have a bag that becomes that brick and that can't compress and can't be more economical with the amount of space that it takes up. So one of the insights that we had was by putting putting the dividers permanently attached, but allowing them to move back and forward also allows them to kind of like be more natural inside the bag and bend and flex as the volume of the bag changes. So even when you take your camera gear out, the bag just kind of like slims down to your body, and then when you put the camera gear in, it takes up the space that it needs. I think that was one of the big insights that let us kind of feel that we had something worth sharing to the camera audience. We have a lot of photographers on our team, and our photo team is obviously very committed and very into photography, but we didn't want to just do a camera bag with just like Velcro dividers in there and just turn it into a camera version. We wanted to actually make sure that there was an insight or a reason that made sense for us to actually talk to that audience and really feel like we had something worth sharing.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's definitely still got Bellroy's fingerprint on it for that minimalist aesthetic, and yet that durability that you could not be afraid to put potentially an expensive piece of equipment inside the bag. There's still security when it comes to and the peace of mind that you could put inside the bag. Yeah, definitely. Well, you mentioned a lot of really good features, and potentially even features that some of us might not understand the full story behind, with the Venture line. Is there any features in particular as a designer that you feel are really special to you for this line?
The quick slide on the camera edition. So it has a different kind of hardware. So it has the ability to slip and move along the webbing in a bit of a unique way, and it's kind of like just exploring how you would use a tri-glide and the limitations of what a tri-glide is. And we basically stretched it out and used the tension when the piece is lying flat to be what locks the webbing in place, and then when you actually bend it out on an angle, then the webbing can slide free. There was a lot of fun prototyping, a lot of 3D printing, a lot of really messing around with like what point friction becomes useful in a strap, and then what point looseness becomes, or the ability to slide becomes useful in the strap. From a design point of view, I am very much a soft goods designer. We have quite a few soft goods designers on the team. So we actually had someone join the team whose specialty in 3D CAD and hard goods design, just so that we could tweak around and actually play with that buckle and really dial it in.
So JJ, I wanted to ask about the Venture range in general. It's really making a statement about where Bellroy is heading and where we might head in the future. What can we expect from Bellroy in the future?
I think for us, we want to keep pushing ourselves to just expand. We really had that focus of work and play, and we were starting to look more towards travel, but I think with travel kind of going on pause, we realized that we could look more at activities and the things that we do with ourselves and our time. So we've started to really focus on more of those bags that are a bit more of a joy to use more often, and less focused on work, and less focused on ultra specific tasks. So you will have seen the market tote, for instance. We have some cooler product that is actually coming through, which is taking that idea of like hunting for ingredients, or going and meeting up with friends and trying to find ways of actually taking a Bellroy spin on it. And what does cooling something actually mean for us? We want to try and push into new material areas really strongly. So you will have seen we have some Mirum wallets. Mirum is a fantastic material that has really got us very excited about like what material technologies actually exist for us that are going to have origins of a natural source, and start to really try and get to that end goal of truly circular product. It's like, how do we take that into bags? We've found ways to do it within a wallet space, because a wallet is a very controlled item. Like, you have fewer components of fewer origins going together, but the complexity of the bag means that you've got such a wider range of origin parts. And it's like, how do we start to bring those together into a bag that is something that, in the ideal world, it's like, you finish with the bag, you can send it back to us, we grind it up and make a new bag from it. Like, that's kind of the end goal that we're shooting towards. And I think that you'll see us just continuing to make more and more steps that try and balance like really good materials and really good source products with the kind of design that is more flexible and more open world that we're really trying to look into.
Yeah, I love that Bellroy is listening, to how our world works and how our world moves. And as we see ourselves occupying our immediate spaces a lot more, it's really fascinating to see Carrie adapt to that as well. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to what Bellroy will be able to put out in the future. We have one more question for you, and that is our Rushfaster carry check. JJ, what do you carry in your everyday carry bag?
I move bags so often. So I'm not the best example, because I will change bags a couple times a week. So what this actually pushes me towards is, we Carryology many years ago put out the Inception packing, and I've got bags that go within bags so that I can change really quickly. The things that I always carry is like over-the-head headphones. So I'm like on the Sony M4s. I always have the trackpad and mouse, and then an external mouse as well. And I think that the balance of interaction of a trackpad combined with a mouse at the same time, I cannot overstate just how much that frees up your hands and lets you kind of experience a computer in a slightly tablet-y way. And then always will make sure that I've got like I've got a James Brown knife, you know, different cables. I'm a bit of the cable minimalist, so I tend to have like power cables wherever I'm going to go and try and rely on battery. And then most of my other stuff is just snacks. It takes a lot of food to keep me happy, so I make sure that I always bring snacks and come prepared.
Yeah, gotta go with the important stuff. Well, JJ, thank you so much for taking out your time with us today and being able to share with us an in-depth look at the Venture collection. We're really excited to be able to play with it and looking forward to what Bellroy has to offer in the future.
Great, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. Love Rushfaster, and you know, been a fan for years and years since they first started. So yeah, it's great to chat to you guys.
We're extremely grateful for JJ and his team at Bellroy for continuing to create and put out such fantastic work. Made of 100% recycled woven materials as well as water resistance, the entire Venture collection has been designed with a minimal aesthetic, yet maximum performance. Now this means you won't find a lot of excessive gear straps or places to put your carabiners. However, they are packed full of features that you will use on a daily basis, yet also be able to go out to the outdoors or go traveling on a moment's notice. Now we've actually seen two of the bags here on our channel before, the 6-liter sling and the 9-liter Venture sling. The newest additions to the range are the 10-liter camera edition sling, the Venture backpack, and the Venture duffel, and we'll be comparing these bags throughout the entire review. Let's get into the 6-liter Venture sling. Getting into the 6-liter sling, we have the bronze colorway here, but this is also offered in a variety of colors such as midnight, night sky, and also ranger green and basalt as well. But this bronze color is a more muted orange, which is a very nice look. On the outside of the bag, we have Bellroy's branding with a minimal aesthetic, and that is the only branding seen on the entire bag. One thing to note is that with this 100% recycled, woven, water-resistant material, on the outside of the bag, base of the bag, and also the body side facing portion of the bag, it is made of a reinforced padded material just to keep your items safe inside the bag. That's a nice thing to note. And that is in contrast with the main body portion of this fabric here, which is a little bit more stretchy, a little bit more malleable, and that allows your bag to adapt to the size of the carry that you have. Looking at the strap, we have a woven polyester, and that is a nice soft material. We've got some metal hardware here on these ladder loops. And on either side of the bag, you'll notice that Bellroy has gone with their quick release feature. It's really nice. It's a very intuitive way to unclasp your bag. You just squeeze on either side of that clasp and then it comes off. This is made of a lighter metal hardware, perhaps aluminum, and then also a plastic polymer there. Bellroy has maintained their self-tensioning system here, meaning that with tension on the strap, you will get compression of the bag, and that's really nice to maintain a slimmer profile, but also to keep all your items snug as the bag compresses. Really nice feature there. On the top of the bag here, we have an AquaGuard zipper with YKK zips, and there is braided pull tabs on either side. We also have an AquaGuard zipper here on the quick access pouch, but this is not a braided pull tab, just a polyester pull tab. Looking at that quick access pouch, we see that there is 2 stretch mesh organization pockets, and I've just got some hand sanitizer as well as my AirPods here. And both those stretch mesh pockets are equal in size on that external carry pouch. We've also got a key leash, which I've got my Bellroy key case here. That's a simple plastic kind of tension key leash there. So very simple organization on the quick access pocket. Getting into the main compartment, Bellroy has what they're calling their shingle back zippers, and that allows for what they call their ultra-wide access, along with a few other design features. So you'll notice that with the shingle back zip, we have end-to-end zippers, whereas most bags will open in the middle here. This allows you to be able to open the bag and fully look inside all the way down to the base of your bag. You'll also note that the zippers here are not attached directly to the bag, whereas most bags will allow you to only open up your bag thus far. The ultra wide access, meaning that this full portion of the bag is available to open up, gives you the ability to look in, maybe get into any one of your slip pockets, and then quickly zip up the bag and sling it back over your body. And that's really nice, just to note for those who are potentially in a hurry or using their bag for everyday carry. The organization along the inside of the bag runs all around the bag. So at the very top here, we have a stretch mesh zippered pocket elevated from the base of the bag, and I've got my sunglasses in there. That's with a fleece lined portion of the pocket here, which is really nice if you want to keep any fragile things from getting crushed inside your bag. On either side of the bag, we've got 2 stretch mesh pockets. And inside this side, I've got some flossers as well as some chapstick. On the other side of the bag, I've got my Leatherman wave tool. And then looking inside at the base of the bag, we do have a big kind of empty space in there, and I've got my pen and pen holder, got my Bagoo reusable mask. I've also got my bifold wallet in. Looking on the other side of the bag, we've got 3 slip pockets, and I've got my Nimble reusable battery charger. I've also got a USB cable. And over here we have a slot that looks potentially like it's for a pen, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you that a full normal sized clickable pen does not quite actually fit the full height of that slip pocket. So potentially if you have a shorter pen or something small and flat that you can pull out, that may be a more appropriate item to stick in that slip pocket there. Also here we've got a zippered pocket, and then inside there I've just got my 2022 planner. And this is a nice pocket to keep flat items such as ticket stubs or airplane tickets, or potentially bills if you're traveling with a foreign currency. That's just a nice discreet pocket to have on the inside of that face of the bag. So one thing to note is that you can actually fit a water bottle inside the bag, and I've got my 20-ounce simple modern water bottle, and that does fit in there, but it is a snug fit. So if you're looking for a bag that can fit a water bottle, this certainly can do it, but I would caution against packing this bag out too much or potentially changing what you're carrying to allow you access to be able to put in a water bottle there. I've also got a 30-ounce Hydro Flask bottle. You can see that does fit very easily in there. So the 6-liter Bellroy Venture Sling bag can accommodate a water bottle inside, but it is a tight fit. So we've got the 9-liter sling in the Night Sky colorway here, and the differences between the 9-liter and the 6-liter sling are actually not that major, just the difference in carrying capacity and a few organizational features. One thing to note though, the difference between colorways is that we've got the Night Sky version here, and it's got what is very much familiar to a lot of bag carriers as that seatbelt fabric polyester material. Whereas with the bronze colorway here in that 6-liter version, we've got a different weave on the fabric for that strap. Nothing too different, I mean no difference with the softness and quality of this polyester fabric, just that in the Night Sky colorway, this may be more of a familiar seatbelt material weave for you. So again, looking at the 9-liter sling, no difference in the features. We've still got the quick release, the self-tensioning system, shingle back zippers, ultra-wide zip access, and also that generous padding on the exterior, inside, and base of the bag. So no difference with the features. Only in the organization, which we'll go ahead and show you here. So on the quick access pouch, we've still got those stretch mesh zippers, but because the length of the bag is different, there is a difference in size between those stretch mesh pockets. So in this larger stretch mesh pocket, I've got my hand sanitizer. I've also got my AirPods here. We've also got that same key leash on key tether, and I've got my Bellroy key case here. And we've also got a stretch mesh pocket on the other side here that's a little bit smaller, and I don't have anything in there, but as you can see, quite a lot of generous space with that beautiful contrast stitching to allow you to see your items, whether or not you're in good lighting or bad lighting, you can see your items against that contrast stitching. Getting into the main compartment here, we see that it is quite a generous space, and I've packed this out potentially for a weekend out or a day out on the town. Looking at this pocket here, it's that suspended mesh pocket that we've seen very familiarly in the 6-liter version. That is also a fleece lined pocket there. I've got my sunglasses in that pocket. And this is much wider. Potentially you could accommodate your sunglasses and potentially one other item. Looking at either side of the bag, we've got that stretch mesh pocket again, and I've got my Bravo Sierra deodorant. And on the other side of the bag, we've got that stretch mesh pocket. I've got my flossers. I've also got my chapstick, and I also have my Leatherman wave tool. Going to the other side of the bag, we've got 4 slip pockets here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And those pen features, again, we see here, but I will show you in a bit. This is not quite enough height in the bag to accommodate a clicking pen. So whatever you have here, potentially a shorter pen may be more appropriate for those slip pockets. But in this main slip pocket here, which is the largest of the bunch, I've got my USB charging cable, and I've also got some hair pomade. And then on this farthest slip pocket here, I've got my nimble chargeable battery. In the main compartment here, I've got my Canon camera, I've got my wallet, I've got my Baggu reusable mask, then I also have my Manfrotto small tripod there. So quite a big amount of space here in the main compartment. It will accommodate, again, a water bottle a little bit easier than the 6-liter version just because of that length of the bag. And as you can see here, very easily takes a 30-ounce Hydro Flask bottle there. I do also have a packable Eddie Bauer jacket. As you can see, that fits snugly in there. Plenty of height left, but it does pack the bag out quite a bit. But you can potentially use this as a gym bag if you want to put like one t-shirt or one item in there. This is a big enough bag to accommodate maybe a single clothing item, but a packable jacket will really pack that bag out. We've also got a larger discreet zip pocket against there for flatter items. I've got my 2022 planner there. And also I've got my pens and pen case. We'll go ahead and show you that the full height pen there, if we put it into the slip pocket, does eke out a little bit, and that would worry me with a clickable pen, putting it in that pocket. So if you do have a shorter pen, that may fit a little bit better in there. So as you can see, not too many different features between the 9-liter and 6-liter version. Just got that beautiful contrast stitching, which may be different between colorways. But again, lots of the same features. Definitely an ability to carry a water bottle or potentially a 20-ounce or 30-ounce water bottle, as you've seen, or a single clothing item. And that is the 9-liter Venture Sling there. Taking a look at the 10-liter camera edition sling of the Venture Slings, we have a lot of the same features, same materials as the previous slings, but with a few key differences that I'll point out along the way that are key for camera carry. So first thing we notice is that this color is in the Ranger green color. And one thing to note for all the newest additions to the Venture line, including the camera edition sling, the Venture backpack, and the Venture Duffel, is the limited color options that are offered. So we have the Ranger green, we have the night sky color, and the midnight color. Just something to note if you are looking to expand. The bronze color is not available in this, or the basalt. Something to note. Looking at the materials, on the exterior of the bag here, we've just got a little bit of minimal branding from Bellroy there on the front of the bag. One thing to note also is that the exterior portion of the bag, the base of the bag, and the body side facing the bag are more reinforced than in the two previous slings. And that's just an intentional design feature from Bellroy to keep your camera gear and your lenses as protected as possible. Another thing to note as we look at the strap here is the addition of a foam pad, and that just allows you to reduce carry fatigue when you are carrying your gear. So that's very nice there. This is a stretchy, breathable mesh, and this side of the outside portion of the strap is just that same 100% recycled nylon material. We also have very minimal branding with the owl there at the base of that strap. The weave on the strap material is the same as what we've seen on the bronze color of the 6-liter sling. And we also have the addition of a quick release on the strap. So it allows you to adjust the length of the strap as needed, and it allows you to do so quickly. So say you want to swing the bag around, you want to access one of your lenses, or perhaps you need another battery or SD card. This quick slide buckle allows you to do that, which is a really nice feature as well. We've also got those quick release on either side, but hopefully the quick adjusting buckle there will allow you to get the bag around your body as needed. Another big key feature to note are the external carry loops that Bellroy has added on this edition. So you've got two here at the base of the front of the bag, and you've also got one on either side of the bag on the left and the right. So what that is available for is for the addition of these external carry straps. So Bellroy has included them. They are removable if needed. And this is just a nylon strap with plastic hardware there with an adjustable portion that allows you to adjust the tension of it. The way that you add this on is you simply take this and you pass it through one of the side loops, which I'll go ahead and show you there. Then you pass the buckle in through itself on the strap. And there it's nice and secure on the side of the bag. Taking this portion of the strap, you just kind of click it on to that front loop there, and it very easily comes on and off, which is nice if you're in a hurry, but once it's on, it's not going anywhere. I'll go ahead and do the other side as well. So with both straps there on the bag, what you do have is the ability to adjust the size of your external carry. So I'm going to put all the strap length on there, and say you want to carry a tripod as I have here, you can just go ahead and pass it through the loops like so. And then what you can do is apply tension on these straps, and as this slider moves down, it keeps the tension there on the strap, which is really nice. I mean, it means that you don't have to worry so much about your gear moving around your external carry as you're holding onto your bag. So as you can see, I'm applying good amount of tension there with intention so that it doesn't come off the bag. So that's pretty secure. That's not going anywhere. Say you wanted to keep it from moving left and right, you can adjust the straps as needed. But when you do want to remove your gear, all you have to do is relieve that tension on either strap, and that comes off quite easily, and you can slide out your gear. So a very simple, intuitive way to keep your external carry nice and secure to the bag with quick access to be able to get out anything that you need from that external carry. Getting into the quick access pocket, we can see that we've still got that YKK zipper with Aqua Guard on both the quick access and the main compartment, and just a polyester pull tab. So one of the main differences with the quick access pocket is that it is fleece lined along the inside of the bag, which is a really nice feature if you've got, say, a short lens or potentially some extra batteries or an SD card. You just want to make sure that that's all protected or potentially not getting scratched up. You do have that fleece lined pocket along these mesh organizers. So inside there, I've just got my Baggu reusable mask, and that is the big stretch mesh pocket, whereas the smaller one, I've just got my hand sanitizer in there. And I do apologize, I don't have any camera carry gear. I've just got some limited equipment with my mirrorless lens that's in the main compartment. So hopefully some everyday objects can help you get a sense of the scale of what can fit in these pockets. I've also got my Bellroy key case along with that key leash in there, so that's a really nice feature. And it's also got that contrast stitching, so say you've got anything that's not in those organized pockets, you do have the ability to see in there quite quickly. Getting to the main compartment access, we've still got that shingle back zipper with the braided pull tabs and that ultra wide zip access to the entire main compartment, which is really nice if you're trying to access your camera gear in a hurry. Looking at the organization along the top, we've got that suspended mesh pocket, and I've got my sunglasses in there. It is still fleece lined, but one of the biggest differences is that they do have some organization within there, which is really nice. Just got a little bit of that stretchy mesh material, and inside this farthest pocket, I've got an extra camera battery. So say you do want to slip some more things, SD cards, you can put that in there, and it is suspended from the base of the bag, so if you don't want it getting crushed, it's a great place to put it. We've also still got that reverse tool belt kind of idea with these side mesh pockets here, and inside there I've just got my external hard drive. I've got my Canon PowerShot G7X Mark II with my Peak Design strap there. So that's all within one side of this divider. On the other side of the divider, I've just got my Sony over-the-ear headphones. I've got the Instax Mini 8 Polaroid camera. And I've also got my Manfrotto mini tripod there. So as you can see, that's most of the main compartment within these dividers. Along the other side of the divider, I've just got my battery charger there. Looking at these dividers, they are attached to the bag, and one big thing that Bellroy emphasized in the conversation we had with JJ is that they didn't want these to be your typical Velcro attachments where you can customize the way that you carry, just because they wanted it to be quieter in the way that you organize your bag, so no ripping of that Velcro noise. So these are attached to the bag, but they are attached with the ability to adjust the size of each compartment, which is a really thoughtful feature. And this farthest compartment actually has what is, and it's very similar to that feature with Peak Design that we saw, which is that origami fold. So say you do want to store something underneath or on top, you can place something there on top. And that's a really nice way to further organize your gear. But what this does allow is that when this bag is empty, these dividers can collapse, and with that self-tensioning feature, it does remain that snug profile without mixing up the organization of your bag, which is just a very thoughtful way to divide your gear, especially for camera carry. This is also another stretch mesh pocket. I don't have anything in there. And the biggest difference is that there is no flat zippered pocket to organize gear against the body side of the bag. But we still got that beautiful contrast stitching, still got those nice dividers, which is filled with a foam material, nice and firm, firmer than the strap material. And we've got organization. So a great way to carry your camera gear, your lenses, your extra battery, to be able to do all of this and still keep that snug profile that we've seen along the Venture line. So getting into the highly anticipated Venture backpack, we see a lot of echoing of features we've seen before on the Apex, the Chimera backpack, and now with the Venture, packed full of features. Let's get into it. Standard across the Venture line, we have that 100% recycled water-resistant nylon. We've got YKK zippers with AquaGuard on either side of the bag. Not all the zippers are AquaGuard, which I'll show you in a minute. But this colorway we have here is in the Ranger Green colorway. The Venture backpack is available in Midnight and Night Sky and Ranger Green, as you see here. So no bronze or basalt offerings. On the front of the bag, on the top flap, we have the very understated Bellroy logo, which is nice and minimal there. Looking also at the front of the bag, we have a single strap here at the base of the bag that is reinforced. It's a really nice way to put on any lights if you're biking at night, or just an extra carabiner to carry gear. We have that same strap weave material that we saw on the Venture 6-liter sling in that bronze color, and also the 10-liter camera edition. So same weave here, very nice polyester material, and the return of the slide hook. So if you're new to the slide hook, it's an intuitive way that Bellroy has offered you to secure your bag in a top-loading version, and that is a 3-dimensional hook there. So with that raised edge, you very easily can pass it through, but it will not pass out by itself without a little bit of pressure. That top flap there is reinforced with a little bit of plastic. On the inside of that slide hook, we've got a very understated Bellroy owl logo. Really nice there on the front of the bag. Flipping over to the back of the bag, we see some very exciting things. We've got contoured shoulder straps there. That's really nice. They sit a little bit off the body, allowing you to adjust to the height or the body shape of the user. Really nice there. Looking behind the shoulder straps, we see a big kind of soft plush back panel with a little bit of an air channel here for airflow. And this is just a nice firm material, yet really soft with that stretchy mesh, very comfortable. And also at the base of the bag, we have a large portion of lumbar support. Just a really thoughtful feature to reduce bag fatigue when wearing the bag. On the inside of that strap, we still have that stretchy mesh, so really nice added feature there. The sternum strap here is managed with a piping material, so you do have the ability to slide that sternum strap up and down and adjust to your body as needed. On the sternum strap itself, it's just secured with a little bit of polymer material there. This strap is that very familiar seatbelt strap material with a small little addition of a plastic strap management there. The sternum strap is secured with that magnetic attachment that we've seen on the Bellroy sling, not the Venture edition, but the original Bellroy sling, and a small bit of elastic on this end just for better strap management. So very nice, simple, intuitive strap there. The base of the shoulder straps, we've got metal hardware there that attaches the shoulder strap to that same strap material. Again, that same polyester weave. A little bit of strap management there with that plastic piece there, and thumb loops. It's available on both sides of the bag as well. One thing to note here is that this back panel does not have a luggage pass-through, so no ability to put it onto any of your other traveling bags, but very outdoor ready with this firm padding here. So looking at either side of the bag, up here we've got behind this flap the external access to that quick access pouch of the bag. So this is seen on the Chimera backpack and also on the Apex, but we've got an increased capacity, and I'll go ahead and show you that there. So on this far side of the bag, I've got my 20-ounce simple modern water bottle, and this runs the full length of the bag, so all the way down to the base, all the way up to that top flap. This is an unorganized pouch, so no organization within there. just some nice contrast stitching. On this side of the bag, I have my Manfrotto tripod, got some hand sanitizer, got my Canon PowerShot G7X Mark II with Peak Design strap, and they've got the key leash here with that nice plastic release, and on there I've just got my Bellroy key case. Again, on this side, the only difference is the key leash, but there is no organization within this pocket. I will show you, I've got a 32-ounce Hydro Flask bottle, and it is a snug fit, but it will fit. So it does fit in there, and you can zip it up. Just a little bit harder to manage versus the 20-ounce version. And the reason that it is a little bit harder to manage will be explained when we get into the main compartment, but this shares the same capacity as the main compartment. So when filling out this external access pocket, you do lose the ability to put more things in the main compartment. And that'll make more sense as we look inside. But very nice to include an external access to a water bottle. Best suited for around that 20-ounce water bottle version. So getting to the top of the bag, we have a doubled back polyester handle, and that is reinforced on either side there of the bag. And that's just a really nice grab handle. So it's nice to see that Bellroy listened about the grab handle that we saw on the Apex that a lot of people had comments on. So this is just a very nice, sturdy, outdoors, really ready version of a grab handle. Looking at the top of the bag, we do see a quick access pocket in the top flap with an AquaGuard zipper. And inside here, we do have a polyester pocket, fleece lined pocket, excuse me. And inside there, I do have my sunglasses there. So this fleece lined pocket does run for a pretty large portion of that top flap. One thing to note is that this is simply a fleece lined pocket. It is not reinforced with padding. So I may be a little bit worried if I stick anything more valuable than my phone or my glasses in there. Just something to note if this bag does end up on its face and crushing anything valuable in that pocket. Something worth noting. Getting into the main compartment bag, we have two ways. We can either use the slide hook or we can use the zippers on either side of the bag. That gives you main compartment access, but let's go ahead and take a look. So if you're using it as a top loading bag, you can open it up. And I didn't note this before, but you do have those 4 loops, and it is reinforced with that plastic material. Let's go ahead and undo the zips on either side. You get a little bit of clamshell access here to look inside the full availability of the bag. So on the clamshell portion of the bag, we've got 2 mesh pockets, really big there on that side of the bag with YKK zip. And inside there, I've just got my Baggu reusable mask, got my USB charging cable, and my Nimble rechargeable battery. So that is the horizontal zip. On the vertical zip, just got my Leatherman wave tool inside carrying case. It's a really nice pocket. Actually, say you want to just quickly access your material from this side of the bag, you can just get in there, access this zip pocket, grab your things, and be out in a hurry. So really thoughtful way of designing those mesh organized pockets. One thing to note is that if you do put too many things in here, it does make this a little bit hard to manage. So keeping lighter materials or less heavy materials in there is recommended. Looking inside the main compartment of the bag, we have stretch mesh pockets on either side, and those are shared with the mirrored external access bag. So as you can see, if you were to fill this out, it would affect the main compartment capacity in there. Something worth noting. So inside that stretch mesh pocket there, I have my Seagate hard drive. And then on the other side, same mirrored side of the mesh pocket, I've got some hair pomade. I've also got my Bravo Sierra deodorant. So really nice organization suspended from the base of the bag. Really nice stretchy mesh pocket. Again, you can put your water bottle in there if you'd like, but it does take away from your main compartment access capacity. Inside the main compartment, I've got my Sony over-the-ear headphones. I've got my Eddie Bauer packable jacket. So quite roomy for a 20-liter bag. Big access here in the main compartment. And suspended from the base of the bag is the electronics carrier. So in this slip pocket, I've got my 6th generation iPad. And then in the laptop compartment, which is kind of a thicker padded material there, I've got my 13-inch MacBook Pro. So overall, on the back of this portion is also the padding there. So you do get a lot of safety and protection for your electronics on this back portion here. Okay, so let's get into the Rushfaster beer capacity test. Okay, so I've got two 12 ounce cans. So 24 12-ounce cans in there. Let's go ahead and zip it up. So it will zip up with 2 packs, just barely, 2 packs of 12-ounce cans. So total 24 12-ounce cans. Maybe, just maybe, yep, able to do the slide hook. So the Venture 22-liter backpack will carry 24 12-ounce cans. This has been the 22-liter Venture backpack, packed full of features and ready to go outdoors at a moment's notice. Last but certainly not least is the Venture 40-liter duffel, and this is a mammoth. This is Bellroy's second largest duffel, right behind the Weekender Plus, which is at 45 liters. So with 40 liters of carrying capacity, you do have quite a bit of options about where you want to take this bag when you do get your hands on it. So looking at the exterior of the bag, standard across the Venture line, we've got that 100% recycled polyester with water resistance. Very understated logo here from Bellroy, which is really nice. On either side of the bag, we've got these strong reinforced handles, and on this night sky version, we do have these seat belt material. So this is double back reinforced, very sturdy handle. Reinforced here on either side of the bag with that extra stitching, so that's a really nice feature. The base of the bag is nice and padded, but the rest of the bag is that stretchier material, so it does allow the bag to expand as needed. Looking at the strap here, we've got a carrying strap that is detachable with those triangle clips, and that is available to snap onto either side of the bag here on opposite poles. So that does come off very easily. We've got a ladder loop here, and also very thick foam padding, very much like the 10-liter camera edition Venture Sling, and just a little bit of logo branding there from Bellroy, the owl. So really nice strap, really does come in handy when needed. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it. On the exterior of the bag, we can see, just going off, we've got a nice AquaGuard zipper here with YKK zips, the ability to add a lock, a travel lock if needed, and these braided pull tabs. But before we get into the main compartment, on the opposite side of the bag, we do have one small quick access pocket, and that's just got a nice flip zip there with AquaGuard zip. So that lays nice and flush when the bag is up against, say you're in your car or you're on an airplane, so that this isn't sticking out at all. Inside there, we've just got some contrast stitching, and I'll flip it this way. And in there, I've just got my Baggu reusable mask. Just got some hand sanitizer. And inside, they've also got that key leash with quick release. And I've got my Bellroy key case in there. No other organization in that external pocket. Just a nice, easy way to access your gear, or potentially your wallet or phone or flight tickets in there when needed. And that does sit nice and flush against the bag there. You see it doesn't stick out very much. So very much features that you are going to use, yet not overly complicated with organization, so that you have a variety of scenarios you can bring with this bag. Looking at the base of the zipper on either side of the bag, we've got a reinforced loop here, and that's just a nice reinforced strap there that you could either hang a carabiner on, or you could use as a pull tab to open up the zipper, and that's available on either side. We do also have an extra loop here that you could either attach the triangle clip to for the strap, or you could also just, put a carabiner on there as well. So getting into the main compartment, you will notice we don't have the ultra-wide zip, but what we do have is a zipper that runs all the way from the top to the base of the bag. That allows you to fully open up the bag and also pack out the bag, which is really nice. So that ultra wide feature is not here, but with intention. That does allow the bag to take on what JJ called the barrel shape, and this is just a lot more of a classic duffel shape. So very simple, clean line still, with the added feature of being able to access and pack out your entire bag. So getting into the main compartment, we can open up here, and you do have the ability to open the bag quite wide. So inside, along this lip of the bag, we've got a stretch mesh pocket. Inside there, I've just got a hat folded away. And this is actually quite a large stretch mesh pocket here. This potentially could be used to hold any dirty laundry, keep it separate from your main compartment. It's a really generous space in there. Opposite to that, we've got two stretch mesh pockets that are accessed with one zipper. They are separated though. So inside there, I've just got my charging cable, my Nimble rechargeable battery, also my Bravo Sierra deodorant, and my pomade. So very nice stretch mesh pockets that are separate in organization, same size, but nice and suspended off the base of the bag. Inside the main compartment here, I've just got my Eagle Creek packing cube with a few shirts. I've also got some more t-shirts in a packing cube. Got my bag to carry all of my wires and chargers, 32-ounce Hydro Flask, and my Eddie Bauer packable jacket. So quite a generous space here with that 40-liter capacity. At the base of the bag, we do see one unique feature, which is what Bellroy has added, a small drawstring bag that allows you to store away shoes or any other items that you want to keep separate from your main compartment. And there I've just got my boots. So that's just a really nice feature. It does come out if you want. So it can come off with these two loops on either side of this bag. So you can connect it, perhaps take it out or use this as a dirty laundry bag or anything else that you want to keep separate from the rest of your main compartment, and it does draw up with a drawstring there. So really nice feature. Outside of that, we do just have a large empty main compartment here. So no extra organization, but that again is with intention. You do have the flexibility to use this as a gym bag or a weekend bag or getting away for a longer extended trip. There are lots of options here to organize your gear and yet features that you're actually going to use. All right, so we're gonna go ahead with our Rushfaster beer capacity test. Let's see how much we can fit in here. So this has been the 40-liter Venture Duffel, very capable of a weekend trip or trip to the gym, or perhaps even an extended trip with minimal organization, but maximal capacity and an ability to separate any dirty items or gear that you want to keep separate, which is a nice added feature from Bellroy. So here are all the bags on body for your reference. I'm 5'7". This is the 6-liter Venture Sling. This is the 9-liter Venture Sling. This is the 10-liter Venture Sling Camera Edition with external tripod carry. This is the 22-liter Venture Backpack. This is the 40-liter Venture Duffel. Well everyone, this has been a review of the full Venture collection, Bellroy's first entry into the outdoor carry world and also into camera carry with the 10-liter Camera Edition Sling. We've seen Bellroy do special design collections, the Light collection, and now with the Venture collection, we can only wonder where Bellroy is going to take us next. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments below what you thought about the review and what you want us to see us review next time. If you're interested in gear, subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with our latest reviews. We also have a monthly newsletter that features the latest in the carry world and chances for you to win gear of your own. Links for that are going to be in the description below, and you can also scan the QR code on your screen. But for now, this has been the full Venture collection from Bellroy, and we'll see you next time.